I'm live on YouTube. If for all of our rabid YouTube fans, the legions of YouTube fans, we came into you first today, so you should feel good about that. We're also on Comedy Schools Radio Network live right now, and we're plugging in wires like an electronic engineer, trying to get set up to be live on Facebook Live. There we are. Live on Facebook Live, live on YouTube Comedy Schools, live on ComedySchoolsRadioNetwork.com. It is 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and this is Living on a Thin Line with Tony Vicich. We are your daily distraction for all the weirdness, anger, anxiety, and hoopla going on in the world today. I'm really not liking my YouTube shot. I kind of move things around, and I'm just trying to, yeah, that's worse. It's because I moved the stool yesterday, and now I'm getting something I don't want. There it is. I'm nothing if not professional. All right, there we are. We're all set now. We're looking pretty. I still got like a little piece of the doorway on there, and it's bothering me. But you know what? I'm probably not the one that's bothering right now. You're not bothered. You're just here to be entertained. And so that's what we're going to do. Hey, by the way, if you're not on our mailing list, write me, Tony Vicich at comedyschools@hotmail.com. Write me there. We'll get you on our mailing list. We send out cool things, codes and coupons and information that you may or may not find helpful. You also may be a complete masochist and want more junk email. Let us help you with that. We'll inundate you with horrible junk email. And you'll say, oh, God, so much junk email. But hello, Kevin Brown. So, as far as junk email goes, I just want to say this about junk email, that I have my regular email. Well, now on Hotmail, because I still use Hotmail, I have three groups of email. I've got regular, then focused, then junk. So regular and focused are pretty much the same thing, then junk. My junk email is far more interesting than my regular email. My regular email is people send me emails. Hey, we're doing this at 4 p.m. Make sure that you log on. Okay, my junk email, every other thing is that I can be bigger or longer, that there's $10 million waiting for me in Africa, and that a Russian girl wants to marry me. So, and that there's people who want to make friends with me in my neighborhood and down the street. So I know it's all a lie, but as far as, hey, please fill out this form, or be bigger and longer now. They're more interesting. So it's kind of like fiction, I guess. The fiction is more interesting than the fact when it comes to email. This is not email. This is live, ladies and gentlemen. Coming live. We are on 3 platforms. And if you've been watching before, you know what they are. If that's just on YouTube at the Comedy Schools channel, both of those are video where you can watch my face. And then, of course, ComedySchoolsRadioNetwork.com, where you can listen if you're an audiophile, if you prefer a oral stimulation. Yeah, people are like, well, you mean that oral? It's A-U-R-E-L, meaning to hear. All right, so the show is built around 3 things. It's built around you, the audience, as we interact with your questions and comments, aforementioned platforms. It's based on me showing you some little trinket or bauble that I have here in the home office, some memento, some autograph, and try to maybe craft a story around it, and recommending to you 2 artists or 2 pieces of music based on my vast vinyl album collection. So I've got all of those things for you today. I do. Indeed, I do. I've been talking about some like local issue stuff here. I'm probably going to back off it for a while till I get more information. As a matter of fact, right before I came on the air with you guys, I was getting some information from a local city councilman that was very helpful. Here's the thing I think all of our politicians have to remember, okay? And maybe we all have to remember, is I oftentimes get an answer from a politician. What I don't get is a solution. I get an answer, but not a solution. We have to start identifying what the problems are and then identifying solutions. Several times I've interfaced with a local politician, and they've been able to just talk a blue streak But at the end, I go, I don't really know anything, and I don't know what they're going to do. All right, these are tough times for everybody. We've all become our own little principalities, so many of us. I know some of you are just wandering around licking lampposts and humping the nearest stranger and going, I don't care about no virus. I got the sniffles. I know you're doing that, okay? But for so many of us, we have become our own little nations as we live in these small bubbles of our front yard and our backyard, if we're fortunate enough to have those, and our homes, those and the people that we're with, and that we're spending the majority of the time in a very small amount of space right now. Like if you lived in New York City for most of the history of New York City, you may have, most people, for some reason this thing's saying, unfortunately, Google Play Store has stopped, and I have no interest in Google there. Let's get rid of it. And then Facebook just disappeared. What the heck? Resume. All right. If you lived in New York City in the 20th century, most of the people there that live in the city, live in Manhattan, live in very small, cramped spaces, and then go out and access the huge, vibrant, exciting city. But now if you live in New York City, you're just pretty much in that small, cramped space. And even when you can get outside right now, about 3/4 of the things you love to do are shut down or closed. Can't go to nightclubs, can't go to comedy clubs, can't go to the movies, can't go to museums, cannot gather in watering holes and enjoy yourself, can't listen to jazz or rock or blues or country, can't crowd together on a subway. So in a sense, we've all become our own principalities, our own little governments. All right. And we really have to work together to say, all right, I have an answer, but do I have a solution? I have an answer, but do I have a solution? Well, I have a grandson crawling around underneath me right now who just handed me a snow globe from St. Louis, Missouri. I have shown this snow globe before and talked about snow globes and St. Louis and the St. Louis Arch, but he handed it to me. So there it is. There it is. Now let's get to hello, Champ de Blasio. Hello, Paul Lynch, Miguel Lopez, Angela Fox, Kevin Brown, Tina, Mike Lawson, everybody who's watched, everybody who will ever watch. Let's get to the stuff, shall we? Let's just get to the stuff. Let's have a little diversion where things going on. Usually I've been showing a lot of bobbleheads, and I don't want to get into the whole bobblehead controversy today. And if you're new to the program, you're going to have to watch it a few times to figure out these lies that are being spread about me concerning bobbleheads. And they are lies. Okay. And, but you're going to have to watch a little while to really get the whole vibe. I would like to say, by the way, that there's another guy who's on right now, Champ de Blasio from the East Coast, from the Eastern Coast, who does pizza reviews and does damn good pizza reviews. And he not only reviews local pizzerias in his area, which would probably do me no good because I don't live in his area, but also reviews regional and national chains and stuff and different types of pizza and talks about pizza. And if you love pizza, you're going to love what Champ does. I just thought I'd give you a plug there, Champ. And then when he's eating some really specialty pizza, it makes your mouth water for a pizza. So anyway, I thought I'd mention that. So let's get to the stuff. So a lot of people are expecting another bobblehead today and a big talk about it. Not going to happen today. Instead, we're going to show you a T-shirt, never worn. Never worn. Not ancient, but here it is. Hope you can see that. It's a cowboy. I know that the problem oftentimes I just pulled a wire on Facebook is that it's giving you a mirror image so you can't read it. But this is Dwight Yoakam, North American Tour 2018. Dwight Yoakam, North American Tour 2018. And I believe that I got this. That's what it says. Live in concert, North American Tour 2018. So there you are. There you go. There you are. There's a picture of a rock and roll outlaw with a 6-string gun, if I ever saw one. Dwight Yoakam is one of my now all-time favorite artists. I think he's just fantastic. I don't have any Dwight Yoakam albums. I have maybe 10 Dwight Yoakam CDs, but we haven't gotten to using CDs yet when we recommend music. We're still working off the vinyl collection, which we think makes the show a little more interesting. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. Who knows? So I was aware of Dwight Yoakam during his ascension, but not interested. So Dwight Yoakam, a lot of his story mirrors mine, except the part where he became ungodly famous. We both moved from, he moved from Ohio, and I moved from Missouri to Los Angeles in the late 70s. He worked in some sort of trucking or delivery place. I actually worked at a factory, Vivitar. It was Vivitar. It was cameras, putting these boxes and bigger boxes and loading them onto trucks so they could be sold. Held various jobs like that. I was going to acting school at the Strasberg Institute. He was going to acting school and doing plays. The difference between Dwight and I is he could also play the guitar and sing. And man, can he play the guitar and sing. I put him in the category of the type of artist who not only has his own sound, okay, and it's a great sound, but also any song that he plays then becomes almost a Dwight Yoakam song. And if he doesn't make it better, he at least gives us a really great alternative version. His version of Sloop John B., which we all know as a Beach Boys song, is just fantastic. Of course, the Beach Boys version is fantastic, but it's actually an old Jamaican sailing song. So it's actually an old folk song. So if you ever get a chance to listen to Dwight Yoakam, start out maybe with, there's a album or CD called Last Chance for 1,000 Years. It's got a lot of his great hits on it. And just listen to the guitar work, the singing, the way he does things, absolutely stunning. He has a radio show on Sirius called The Bakersfield Beat, where he shows all the connections between Bakersfield and so much of what went on in music, and interviews a lot of great artists and musicians on his show. I have now seen Dwight Yoakam, trying to think, 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 times. 4 or 5 times. And enjoyed the concert every time. He puts on quite a show. He's now in his 60s. He's an interesting guy, too, because you may remember him from the movie Sling Blade. He's done several movies. Sling Blade, where he played an absolute jerk, a monster that Carl ends up killing. Spoiler alert! From a movie from 1982 or 3. And in that movie, he's not wearing his cowboy hat, and he looks like a mean redneck. When he puts that cowboy hat on, he's Elvis in a cowboy hat. And when he was younger, he drove the little girls wild with his moves and antics on a stage. But when he takes it off, like in Panic Room, he's in a movie with Jodie Foster and Forrest Whitaker, Panic Room, and he just plays just a mean, stupid redneck. He puts that cowboy hat on, he is a rock star. So there's 2 Dwights. Cowboy hat Dwight, not cowboy hat Dwight. And they both paint a completely different picture. But as far as his movies, check out Sling Blade and see just how good he is. Of course, everyone in that movie is eclipsed by Billy Bob Thornton's character, Carl. Everybody's eclipsed. But such great performances in that movie from John Ritter. God, what's the kid's name? Because the kid went on and did a lot of movies with Billy Bob Thornton. And, of course, Dwight Yoakam and others, some of them being local actors. But check out his music. That guy, he says he plays straight up hillbilly music, but I've never heard a rock and roll ethic stronger in any music than what Dwight Yoakam does. So that's a T-shirt from a concert we went to that I never wore. Just thought I'd share that with you. I don't know if there's any of the Dwight Yoakam fans out there. Apparently not. All right, let's get to the music because the music matters. I got something weird here we've never talked about. There was some weird lead instruments in bands during the rock era. Now, for the most part, the lead instrument during the rock era, say we're going to move from the Beatles all the way up into the early 90s, when rock was eclipsed by rap music as the main form of pop music that young people buy and listen to, was the guitar and the lead guitarist. Now, the lead guitarist wasn't necessarily, I got something else was given to me here by my grandson. It is a picture of a man with his arm in something. All right, with his arm in a box. Aha! All right, and there's more of something else. Uh-huh. All right, very good. What we got here? We got A+, RF. You can tell me, is this show A+, RF? That's what it's got, and it looks like an F. Anyway, usually it was a lead guitar. Every once in a while, a piano. Okay? And oftentimes the lead guitarist wasn't the best guitarist. The rhythm guitarist was, because everyone really kept the song moving along, and the lead guitarist just got to do fancy stuff. But every once in a while, the lead instrument was something else entirely. Entirely. For instance, in the seminal British band, prog rock band Jethro Tull, it was a flute. Okay, and if you go, well, that was the Weird British. A few years later, one of the number 2 country rock band coming out of the South in the mid 70s, Leonard Skinner being number 1, was Marshall Tucker Band, and oftentimes the lead instrument was a flute. Okay, in this band, it was a violin. In this band, I'm being inundated by little cartoons here, was a violin. And this band is called The Flock. And The Flock came to us out of Chicago. I don't know what happened to anybody in this band. I don't know what happened to Fred Glickstein, who played the guitar, Jerry Goodman, who played the violin, Jimmy Smith, who played bass, drums, Ron Cartman, tenor sax, Rick Kenoff, tenor sax, Tom Webb, and trumpet, Frank Posa. But I saw this band one time, and they were stunning musicians. These were all people that had trained on non-cool instruments. In other words, things like the tenor sax. One time, the sax was the hot instrument. Sax was a lead instrument in a lot of pop music. You know, if you look at Charlie Parker, or if you look at John Coltrane, and a lot of jazz musicians were stunned and bewildered when guitar became the dominant instrument in American pop music. A lot of them were. But in this case, it necessarily wasn't the guitar. It was the violin. And here's a young man. You can see him there. So the great thing about rock music, so I'm not even talking about rock and roll, because rock and roll would be Jerry Lee Lewis and Little Richard and Elvis Presley. Stunningly wonderful music. Was by the time we got to rock had mixed in so many different elements of American music, from jazz and classical, rhythm and blues, soul, zydeco, classic rock and roll, jazz, every type, and could find a way to turn it into rock music. And here you see a man definitely rocking out with a violin. These guys were around the early 70s. I'm trying to look here. Let's see. Here's the introduction. So the introduction was 4 minutes and 50 seconds. A song called Clown, Emily Tall Tree. All right, and then Store Bought, Store Thought. And then a really long song, 15 minutes long, called Truth. Really jazzy and improvisational. But the big hot song off of here, and the one I recommend that you YouTube and listen to, all right, it's Tired of Waiting. Their version, one of the shorter songs, by the way, on here, and maybe that's why it got played on the radio. Their version of the Kink song, Tired of Waiting. Tired of waiting for you. And now you can see why Dwight Yoakam became famous singing, and I did not. So it is kick-ass, okay? And they've got a trumpet going there, maracas, tenor sax, and just check that out and listen to their version of it and tell me that that's not a great tune. Then listen to a couple of the other tunes and hear how someone can take a violin and turn it into a leading rock and roll instrument. So The Flock, Tired of Waiting, and then any other song on that album, and give me your thoughts. Now, the next thing we're going to recommend is not just one artist or even compilation. This is a massive group. This is Folk Songs America, a 20th Century Revival. And you know what? I just realized when I grabbed this is compact discs, but we're going to talk about it anyway. All right. So this is a compilation, and it was selected by, annotated by a guy named Norm Cohen, of so many great folk songs. And folk music was super hot in America one time. And one of these days, we'll talk about how that happened, how Woody Guthrie actually became famous via the radio. Okay, and the Kingston Trio and Pete Seeger and so many people who became incredibly famous via the radio it kind of supplanted for a while American pop standards. You know, the stuff that was coming out of Tin Pan Alley. So all of these songs, there's so many great artists on here. Paul Robeson doing Waterboy. Big Rock Candy Mountain being played by Harry McClintock. March to Pretoria is on here. Buffalo Skinners, which is an old American folk tune. Green Sleeves. So many songs that became incredibly popular in the 50s and the 60s. Dueling Banjos is on here with Eric Weisberg. All right. So many songs that were actually ancient tunes. Some of them going back to the 1600s. But the list of artists on here, Dave Von Ronk, who was the king of music in Greenwich Village of folk music till Bob Dylan came along, is on here with Yaz, Yaz, Yaz. Jack Elliott doing Portland Town, which I believe is a Woody Guthrie tune. Ramblin' Jack Elliott. Lester Flatt and Scruggs. So a whole compilation of incredible American music. So if you think music started, and you're young, and you think music started in the 90s with, say, early 90s with bands like Pearl Jam and what Dr. Dre was doing, or if you're someone from like the 60s who thinks music started with the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, or even from the 50s, thinking that it started with Elvis Presley, or even before that it started with Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra, open your ears a little bit and listen to some of the great folk music that was put out that then was incorporated in so much of American pop music. And so many of these people were fantastic artists who are now completely gone and forgotten. There's some big ones on this compilation. There's Simon and Garfunkel's on here doing Last Night I Had the Strangest Dream. Let's see. Well, Tom Paxton isn't a household name anymore, if he ever was. But there's a few others like that on here. There's some Pete Seeger tunes. Pete Seeger originally did Little Boxes, and their ticky ticky house and their ticky ticky town. It was his song. He wrote it. Fantastic song. If you want to YouTube or Google Folk Song America 20th Century Revival, maybe they'll have it on YouTube. You'll be able to find some of these and just kind of pick and choose and hop through. All right? And if you do enough songs, you go, oh, I remember that song from when I was a kid. Oh, I didn't know that it was done before so-and-so. You know, and you'll really be shocked and amazed. But you'll really be opening up your eyes and heart and ears and mind and soul to a whole different form of music. I have no idea what's going on behind me. There is an elf in the room who is you want me to show? Wait a minute now. What time is the show? How much time do I have?
It's 23 minutes.
23 minutes. You want me to show them a bobblehead? Is that what you want?
No. If you can see on this cartoon.
Huh?
That's you.
That's me? All right, ladies and gentlemen. I actually have had my portrait done. We're going to talk about this bobblehead tomorrow. We're going to be wrapping up now. But I'm proud to say that finally, after all these years, a man realizes he's achieved a certain station in life when his portrait is done. And here's mine. That is it. There we are.
And
what am I holding?
a shotgun.
I'm holding a shotgun?
Yeah, like the one that you have in your room.
All right, enough about that. Here I am holding a shotgun, ladies and gentlemen. I'm now Shotgun Tony. Hi, everybody, welcome to the show. I'm good old Shotgun Tony. Going to talk to you about some music that I think is really good.
That's a real shotgun.
Huh?
He has a real
okay,
shotgun.
that's enough. Okay, I have a human bone too, but I showed that yesterday. We're going to wrap up now. We've descended into chaos. That's not a real bone. That's a dog bone. So here's the difference, okay? Beef bone, human bone. Beef bone, human bone. All right? And yet, look at the beef bone, then look at the human bone, and they ask me, how the hell did we become the dominant species? And I tell you what, if we don't mask up, social distance, and minor P's and Q's, we may not be. We may not be. So let's all take care of each other by taking care of ourselves, all right? Okay, folks, that's the show for today. Shotgun Tony, that's right. Hello, everybody. I'm Shotgun Tony. We got to wrap up because the station has been taken over by gremlins. We'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. with another great show. Just let me say this real quick to you. Just let me say this real quick to you. if you're looking for something to do tonight at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I'm doing a free intro of my stand-up comedy workshops in order to be able to jump in and watch and listen and hear. All you got to do is go to comedyschools.com and click the link right there at the top of the website tonight at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And you'll be able to hear a lot of what we lay out to be able to teach you how to take your creativity and form it into something fun and funny. All right, that's our show. We'll see you tomorrow on Living on a Thin Line. My name is Tony Vicich. That's Sullivan. Bye-bye.
Did you glue that the one that had the broken hand, the bobble